Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And
we're Witches Talking Tarot.
So today we're going to be discussing some well-known and maybe not so well-known mythical creatures that kind of originate from an egg. And we're discussing this
But not just normally from an egg.
Right?
Weirdly from an egg.
Right, exactly.
That's the theme.
So this is the partnering episode of the last episode that we did, which is all about egg magic. Now we're talking about egg creatures.
Yes.
Or creatures that come magically from an egg.
Right.
And the first one that we're going to talk about is the basilisk. I know my Harry Potter fans know what a basilisk is, but do you know where a basilisk comes from? Because I didn't.
And we're also, we may as well cover the cockatrix at the same time,
right.
Because other than their origins, which we'll cover, they're pretty much the same creature after they hatch.
Man, do you think basilisks were real, though? Honestly?
Okay, so if we're going to do this, I believe basilisks are 100% an interpretation of different readings of cobras. Because of, the fact that the basilisk's only enemy, same with the cockatrix, their enemy is the weasel. And the weasel can either kill them by, going down into their lair and, killing them with force. But it can also kill them with their stare, to my understanding. But also with the smell of their powerful-ass urine. And in real life, the
weasels eat snakes.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but the cobra's known enemy and only known enemy is the mongoose, which is a weasel-like creature.
Yeah, right.
And I bet because of the family the mongoose comes from, I bet they got a musk like nobody's fucking business, which is where that whole, their urine will kill the basilisk or the cockatrix. But to take it backward, where the basilisk comes from.
So the basilisk comes from, and correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, Amber, please, but it's like a snake's egg that hatches underneath a male chicken, right? A
cock that...
I know, I'm like, what is the other word that's not a cock? A rooster.
A cockerel.
A cockerel. Okay.
Yeah, a cockerel was a word in olden times used to describe, all sorts of pheasant types. Okay. So, cockerel didn't necessarily have to mean a male cock, rooster.
Okay.
A cockerel could also be a female, right? But, so it's, a serpent, snake, or a toad.
Okay.
That's what it said about where the basilisk comes from. Now, the cockatrix is the exact opposite in creation. It's a cockerel's egg that is hatched by either a toad or a snake.
Huh.
But either way, they come out and they're halfway between a chicken and a snake. They're like a snake with legs and wings and the face of a chicken.
Oh my god, it sounds like a motherfucking dinosaur. Check out our last episode.
It really does.
Okay, so now I'm like, wait, what if it was a dinosaur that didn't go extinct and they couldn't describe it, and now it is extinct?
Right, and now it is extinct because that really was a basilisk or a cockatrill.
Right.
Or a cockatrix, and they got hunted to extinction. Except people were terrified of them because if
you look at them, you'll
they
become.
Could kill you.
They could kill you, or in Harry Potter's case, pop culture, you'd be petrified, and you'd have to be brought back to life with those fucking screaming ass mandrakes.
Mandrakes.
I love that scene when they lift the mandrakes out and they're chunky babies and they're screaming. I'm like, there's Orion.
I love it when it's he's got acne. The
I
mandrake has acne. That shit was funny.
They have to wait for the acne to clear up to be able to use. That is so funny. But in all seriousness, though, I guess that's cool. J.K. Rowling did do that with the, if you look in their eyes, it petrifies you, but it doesn't kill you. In real myths, it does kill you.
It does, right. And not just that, but other animals and plants even.
Oh my god, I'm so wrong. I am so sorry. In Harry Potter, if you look in its eyes, it does kill you. The reason why they were petrified is because they didn't look directly in its eye. Hermione looked at the reflection. Hermione looked at it in the reflection of the water. That one annoying ass guy looked at it through the camera. And Moaning Myrtle died because she looked at it directly in the eye. She didn't look at it through a reflection. She actually saw the creature.
But wasn't Charity a ghost? Or is
No,
that's
how she died and became a ghost.
Ah, okay, like a long time ago.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And so like also.
Sorry to get off topic.
You're not. I mean, you're good. It's not off topic. It's basilisk. So I was just gonna say like also, essentially, it was probably code for pagan or Jew.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, didn't you tell me?
Yeah,
that?
Martin Luther had written this thing. It was anti-Jewish rhetoric, and it said when you hear the Jew talking about their beliefs, really it's poison coming from the basilisk.
Huh.
And like we talked about the fact that like, you know, they said that they're basically like the way that if you look a witch in the eye, she can enchant you in olden times, right? So a basilisk, you look it in the eye and it's just going to strike you dead. That's a very pagan theme. Plus it's snake-like. The cockatrix and the basilisk, they're both snake-like. Pagans, you mentioned St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
All the snakes out of Ireland kind of bullshit, which I will be wearing my snake skin on the 17th. Absolutely.
It's not real snake skin.
No, it's not real snake, and it's patterned. One's red, and the other's got leopard print and some other kind of animal print with it. And it's a wild ass dress, but I love that bitch. She's pretty.
So, have you ever eaten snake?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's good.
It is. What is the type? Is it like fish?
Like
I imagine
chicken.
it'd be fishy.
It's like chicken. I remember it being like chicken nuggets.
Huh.
Gator's somewhat like, I mean,
I've had
gator.
Gator.
Snake's like between chicken and gator to me. I love gator unless it's fatty and not done.
I think I've had fatty gator because it reminded me of clams.
Yeah,
That wasn't good.
that doesn't sound good to me. No,
But
I've had good gator and then I've had like shitty gator because like they don't prepare it right anymore.
Really?
Wow, I sound like an old swamp person. I kind of like this.
So the basilisk and the cockatrix. I have to say, I'm glad they went with the basilisk and not the cockatrix, because can you imagine, your bird may have blinded the cockatrix, but it can still hear you. Basilisk just rolls off the tongue a little better. You know what I mean?
I mean, I like cockatrix because it has an X in it, and I like pretty much any word that has an X in it. But I also like cockatrix because it fits the imagery better to me. You know, because the cockatrix, I mean, either which way, because both of these animals, they look the same in the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a chicken, or I mean, it's like a snake that's got like a chicken head and wings and some legs, you know. And to me, like, when I hear the word cockatrix, that fits. That fits.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the Harry Potter stylized basilisk, where it's like just like a snake, like a hard ass snake.
Giant ass snake.
I mean, like that makes sense, but that's not what the olden imagery of a basilisk is. Like basilisks technically have legs and the chicken head, and so again, like the name just fits more with cockatrix to me personally.
Right? No, I hear you.
Because of the chicken head and the legs.
Also, while I'm nerding out, I saw a post on Facebook that really bothered me because it was like a plot hole in Harry Potter. Harry gets stabbed by the basilisk. The phoenix, which we'll be discussing in a minute.
Right.
Right? The phoenix
Right.
cries his tears and heals him. And the basilisk fang is what kills the Horcrux. The thing.
Right.
And then the Sword of Gryffindor can kill the other Horcruxes because it's impregnated with basilisk venom.
Right.
Why didn't the Horcrux die in Harry when he was bitten by the basilisk? So it's kind of like a plot hole.
So, the sword was imbued with basilisk venom, which is why it could destroy the other Horcruxes.
Yes. And the Horcrux, remember he had the
right, and he stabbed it, right. But the Horcrux within Harry himself was not killed by the basilisk venom. where in Harry is the Horcrux?
I don't know.
Because, like, what if the venom did not get to reach it through his vein system yet before the tears of the Phoenix healed him? Which is pretty much only Harry Potter legend from what I read. Like, I couldn't find anywhere else.
Oh, about the tears?
Yeah, the tears of the Phoenix being healing. Like, the Phoenix is said to have other magical powers,
right.
you know? But, like, of regeneration. And maybe that's, you know, they use the tear to just visually give you a visual for the regeneration from the Phoenix. But the Phoenix is said to hatch in a very strange way because the original Phoenix is said in Chinese legend to have hatched from the sun.
I love it. I love it because it reminds me very much of like the dragon lore where it's like dragons came from the sun.
Right. Well, and I mean, that makes a lot of sense because the sun in and of itself, you know, we talked a little bit about cosmic creation myths in the egg magic episode, but the sun itself has been looked at by many, many different cultures as an egg itself. So for things to hatch out of the sun, that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Now, you may be going, but phoenixes don't like hatch or whatever. Right.
That's where we got so confused.
Right,
Which came first?
Right, the phoenix or the egg. But here's the thing. If the original phoenix hatched out of the sun, and then there's only one phoenix at a time, and they live 500 years, then according to Egyptian legend, the phoenix, when it's ready to poof away, it builds itself... Right, for real this time. It builds itself a nest out of cinnamon wood and sandalwood, and then the sun lights that shit on fire. The phoenix goes up in flames, turns to ash, and then a little baby phoenix comes out of the ashes. Sorry, I had to do the baby voice, guys.
I love them. I love baby phoenixes.
Can you imagine, like, little baby phoenix, like, waddling around and, like, hiccups and, like, some fire comes out? Like,
I know. Yep. I love that. I love that. And then, again, my mind goes to Harry Potter because I'm sorry, guys. Look, I'm a millennial. It's what I do. The baby phoenix in Harry Potter was not cute at all. It was a baby bird, and as we all know, baby birds are fucking ugly.
They are.
But, like, when Harry walks in and he's like, your bird just caught on fire, dude. And Dumbledore is just like, it's about time. And then they look, and then there's just this little baby that came from the... What an amazing pet. I mean, I would never want to keep one as a pet, but at the same time... Damn, that's awesome.
Right. Well, and also, like, if you have a phoenix as a pet, you know for a fact ain't nobody else got one because there's only one phoenix at a time, ever.
Oh my god. Note to self. Include that at some point. Like,
some book that I'm writing, that phoenix will show up.
I know, right? And there's only going to be one.
Right? And the phoenix is really representative of, like, regeneration, which makes complete sense because... That's what it does. It regenerates.
Literally.
Like, it rises from the ashes time and time again.
It's
and,
beautiful.
like, the phoenix shows up in, like, all sorts of literature and folklore. It's in Jewish mythology. It's in Christian mythology. I bet it's in Islamic mythology. The Russians have folklore about a firebird, which is essentially a phoenix. And other Slavic countries as well. I know over here in America we have Thunderbird legends. I bet we have Firebird legends.
That's also in Harry Potter. That I'm sorry. Yeah, it's in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him. That's why he's in America. Like, he comes to America because he's got to return the Thunderbird to its natural habitat, which is in, like, Nevada or Arizona.
I fucking love that. I can't wait. I want to do an episode on Thunderbirds. I do
know. Like, it was. I don't know about them in real life. I just know in Harry Potter, like, when they do something and it helps people forget.
Well,
like,
in real life, like, there's legend in our country about, like, children being carried off by the Thunderbirds.
We should just do, like, a whole ass fucking, like, episode on birds because...
Birds aren't real.
Okay, so I don't know if the Thunderbird... Oh my god.
Just kidding, we already covered that.
I don't know if the Thunderbird is the one in Alaska. Is that what you're referring to? Because there's one in Alaska that's a huge ass fucking bird that'll carry, like, kids off and just, like...
I mean, it might be the same kind of legend.
It was, like yeah.
I mean, because, like, we have Thunderbird sightings like predominantly out west, but then there's like some in like Indiana and shit, or Ohio. So like we have Thunderbird legends all over the country, but predominantly out west. I could see it being in Alaska, but I could also see it being something different in Alaska just because of the climate.
Well, I'm just trying to like figure out like, is it a Thunderbird or is it Mothman?
Well, and like with the Thunderbirds, from what I have, and we'll have to do an entire episode on it. But,
I know, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, like from those encounters, it would definitely not be a Mothman situation because there's no man thing going on. It's terrifying giant birds.
Like a giant
It's
eagle.
like a pterodactyl, kind of thing going on. It's like giant condors. I can't wait. But
anyway, so back
when it comes to weird egg things.
I have no idea how to pronounce that.
So the Sycovots or Sycovox, they are, depending on how it's spelled, it's different regions, but they're Slavic in lore, and it's Serbian predominantly, but also other places like Russia and Poland. So the whole thing to create a Sycovac is a lady puts an egg from a black hen. Sometimes it has to be a tiny egg from a black hen. She puts it in her armpit for 40 days.
Well, I just imagine it's a bigger woman, too. Because, like, if you have, like, that extra layer of chunk, then maybe you can keep the egg.
It from breaking, right? While you're, like, doing your daily chores.
That is just my own visualization.
Right? Because, like, 40 days is a long time to have an egg up in your armpit. But, like, you're also not praying or washing your hands or face. Or I think grooming your nails during this whole time, which is all like we've discussed in previous episodes. Like these things are set in place in society through like religious or mythological tellings, because like that's how society doesn't get sick, and that's how like you keep yourself healthy and whatever. So it leads me to go like it's an unholy ritual to create an unholy thing.
Like a Horcrux. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to do that shit on purpose, dude.
No, you're fine. It's just like, because the Sycovac, that's the one that it will bring you your neighbor's
It'll bring you your
honey.
neighbor's milk, your neighbor's honey. I'm sure it'll bring you your neighbor's fucking wife.
Gold.
But it's so easy for you to be like, I didn't do that. It must have been the Sycovacs or whatever.
Yeah, like it brought that shit over. Like I ate it for sure. I ate it because it was here, but I didn't. But
as I say that though, I'm like, that's really not a good excuse because you created that bitch.
Right? Like you went out of your way to create it on purpose.
Exactly.
Because like. You held that bitch under your arm.
That almost makes me wonder if it's demonizing the poor as I say that. Because a poor person would be probably ungroomed, probably really dirty, probably not taking care of their nails, and probably stealing from their neighbors.
In Slavic countries, I don't think so, because the bathhouses were such an important part of all life.
Really? I don't know anything about Slavic.
Like, It was super important to maintain cleanliness. So, like, again, to me, that part of it just goes to, like, the unholy nature. Your neighbor that never visits the bathhouses. So, maybe it would be a way to demonize somebody who is whatever, like, maybe you come from like a house where your husband beats you, so you never go to the bathhouse because you have to get naked in front of the neighborhood and they see all the marks on you. Like, so maybe it's like it's a way to exclude, or just like the witch hunts, like they were different, they were weird, so we're demonizing them. They must be witches. So I mean, I could see that, like, oh, my milk went missing, it's got to be Olga down the road. That bitch carried an egg in her armpit. I ain't see her in the fucking bathhouses for 40 days. And I also find it interesting that it's 40 days, which Lent is also 40 days.
That is unusual. That's crazy.
That's why it makes me think that it's like some unholy piece, right? But I can see it from a demonization of that same standpoint, because like, why would somebody stay away from the bathhouses for 40 days? Nobody would see them. going into getting cleaned up for that long, that's fucking weird. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes sense. And what's weird also to me is there's another Slavic creature that hatches from an egg called a lider.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry, guys, I zoned out. I was
way.
Okay.
It's created in that whole, like,
oh, but it wants to be your lover.
It wants to be your lover.
But
and
not
like,
really your lover. And to me...
It's more like incubus, succubus energy.
Yeah, very representative of an abusive relationship, in my opinion, because the, however you pronounce it, will sit on their significant other's chest and literally just feed off their energy.
Right, yeah. It'll
which
suck
reminds
their blood,
me very
suck their energy.
Yes, exactly. And I just somebody presenting themselves as someone that they're really not, because if it's a female, they'll present themselves as a male. Right. If it's a male, they'll present themselves as a female, or I imagine whatever that person would be attracted to.
Right. But here's the thing. It does it to the person that created the life.
Right, that's where I'm confused.
Do you do it on purpose? Which again makes me go like, is it a demonization kind of thing, like you said? And again, it makes me think about, why would you not go to the bathhouses? Because you don't want everybody to see that you're getting beat at home. You know what I mean? And so like this also makes perfect sense from that demonization standpoint. Because like I think it's weird that it's the person that created the lighter is the one that it wants to be the lover of. So like, you did it on purpose, or maybe that's like self-fulfilling prophecy, like you created your own problem because you accepted whatever, because like
that's where I think it does come in with like the representation of abusive relationship, not because you create your abuse or anything ridiculous like that.
Right, now that's not what I was saying.
No. Yeah. But because
I know you know.
You know what I'm trying to say, though.
I know what you're
trying
to say. Yeah.
You want to be loved by something, no matter how toxic it is for you. Right. Not all abuse victims are like that. Please don't.
Right. Yeah, we're not generalizing. We're trying to figure out where this myth comes from, guys. So, like, we're discussing where these creatures might have come from, mythologically speaking. Because, like, the other thing about it is, like, it'll bring you gold and riches and stuff. It'll hoard this stuff. So it's sucking you dry while also giving you treasure. So that's fucking weird. Like, that one's weird to me about, like, the difference between the
Again, I go back to the abusive relationship where it's like, fuck you, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, and then it's like, oh wait, here's a beautiful necklace for you.
That's why I wanted to bring that hoarding gold part up, because that's what made me think of it as an abusive relationship, the sucking you dry while also giving you pretty presents.
Yes.
The way to get rid of a lider, because they don't mention about getting rid of a sycophants, which really, it doesn't bleed you dry, it just brings you your neighbor's things. So, like, you maybe don't want to get rid of it like you might a lider, but you have to give it an impossible task, like dragging.
Right, I had read that. Like dragging sand by a rope. You can't do that. Or drinking water out of a strainer or something.
Exactly, because it's all just going to run out. You'll never get...
and it'll be so busy trying to do that it kind of just
loses its connection to you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you can trap it in like a hollow tree or something like that.
Yeah, it was a willow.
Yeah.
A hollow willow tree.
I prefer the whole impossible task because it's all fairy tale shit.
Yeah.
I do love me some fairy tale shit. But like these are like, I specifically was like, I looked for animals or creatures that came from a weird way of the egg hatching. And this is like these 5, that's all I got, guys.
Right.
So I want to know from other people who like mythological creatures, do you know of any like creature that like it's like a basilisk, right? It's like it's a serpent's egg that a cockerel sat on and hatched it, and then it came out as a basilisk. It wasn't a cockerel, it wasn't a serpent, it was a hybrid between the two, even though that shouldn't work.
Right.
I'm curious, because like when I looked for things that could hatch from an egg magically, right, I found all sorts of things like the hippocampus. But then when I looked for how a hippocampus is created, it doesn't say I couldn't find a fucking creation, anything for hippocampus. So like somebody just assumed that they hatched from an egg. or from an egg. And just FYI, hippocampus, it is not a hippo at all. It's the Greek water horse thing.
Right. Yeah, I have read that.
There's like, campos basically is Greek for water monster. So like, there's a whole lot of different things that the word ends with campos. And they're all water creatures. So presumably they all hatch from eggs. But none of them have like weird egg creations like we were looking for. I thought there would be more. I really did
too. I truly thought there was
I had to search.
Just because the ancient peoples, you know what I mean? I would assume that there would be more, but like you said, this was after extensive research.
Yeah,
so if I
missed something, please let me know.
Please let us know. Yeah.
I really thought there would be more. I am surprised there's so much Slavic stuff, but then there's like, again, as I mentioned in our last episode, like eggs are all throughout Slavic spirituality.
Right.
Like, they're all over the place, so I guess it makes sense. And when I say so much, guys, it's because we found 5 things, and the phoenix is only sort of. Yeah, it's not exactly what we were going for. We were going for other basilisk-like creatures, where like
it was like obviously like had to go through a certain process to be hatched, but like these
these things, because like the whole under your arm for 40 days while you're not cleaning your body. That's a really weird way for a thing to be
rank egg.
Created.
Can you imagine accidentally popping it?
Ooh,
I bet that smells so bad.
I bet that's a bad omen.
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, I am curious on if we missed anything, so please let us know in the comments.
I hope you guys love it. I want to know what else.
I know.
Like, there's got to be more than these 5. Because again, the phoenix, she just kind of barely skates through with that whole, the original one
coming from
the sun. Yeah. Because like, I just thought there'd be more. I thought maybe there'd be some insecty thing.
I know. It's like, it's not necessarily a super long episode, but there wasn't much to go on with this topic.
We were going for an eggy theme because Ostara just happened, and by the time you're listening to this, it'll have just happened. And so we wanted to play off that egg magic, because like Maddie mentioned the basilisk, like covering it some more, because we covered it a bit when we did our snake episode. But like, and I was like, oh, well, I'm sure there's other creatures like the basilisk, because like the cockatrix exist, right? So there's got to be more than just those 2.
Right.
We found a total of 4.
4, maybe 5.
Yeah,
well, let us know in the comments if you're watching us on YouTube if there are any others that we missed. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We are so close to our 100.
Yeah, and also if you want to get a little bit more personal with these witches, and you don't have any plans for Beltane yet, definitely check out the Etsy's that will be listed in the description of this show if you want to join us for our Beltane renewal ceremony that we will be hosting for 10, I'm going to say lucky individuals. Like, you got to pay for it, but you get physical product. And you get to hang out with us for 2 hours.
I mean, look, you're getting a hand-poured peace, love, and tea leaves ritual candle and a special anointing oil blend from Amber is the color.
Yep.
Plus, you're getting entry into a Google Meet where we will actually perform... What? Actually, did I say something?
Nope.
I didn't?
No, we didn't plug the microphones in. I'm sure it sounds fine.
Oh my God! Everybody,
it sounds fine.
Everybody watching us on YouTube, please laugh. Oh my God! Did we not plug them in with any of them? I'm over here talking in this bitch like a fool.
I realized. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. I'm sure it sounds great. And on the bright side, we now have Ocean Audio for our sound editing equipment, so hopefully no matter what, we should sound okay.
Yes. All right.
But what were you, I didn't mean to make you stop talking. I just was like...
Oh, no. I was just telling them about the ritual oil, the ritual candle and the anointing oil that they'll get, as well as be able to join us during this really nice renewal ceremony. We're going to be doing some drumming.
Fuck yeah. We'll be on Google Meets. We got music in the background.
Right.
Because, like, that's whatever we want to go on. And we'll be taking you through a wonderful, wonderful way to bring in Beltane. Because you'll be all nice, freshly renewed with that fire and fertility and flower feeling. You don't have to be like fertile, whatever. I was referencing our Beltane episode from last year. Oh. Fucking A. Hey Melissa. If you want to join Melissa as a patron, you can find us on Patreon. Did we pitch all the socials?
No, just YouTube. You can find us on Patreon at Witches Talking Tarot. We're also on Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot, and we are on Twitter at Classiest Witches.
Yes. Thanks
Bye,
for coming
guys.
to see the spell.
Dude, you